My name's Neil, and I'm very pleased to be with you all today. I'm in my favorite part of the house, which is my story corner. I love stories. The other day, I was walking in a wood, which isn't too far from where I live. And I was having a really happy time walking because I love walking through woods. But suddenly I heard someone shouting out. And I thought, oh, there's some trouble. And I walked round a corner and there was a boy. And the boy had like a stick and he was sort of hitting out at the trees and things. And I felt quite sad. And then his father, who must have been with him, suddenly shouted, "Hey, stop!" And the boy stopped. And then I came away, and it reminded me of a story that I heard a long time ago, which I'm going to tell you today. I hope you enjoy it. Once upon a time, there was a boy who loved watching television. He just got so absorbed in television. He got really angry when his mum or his dad said, "Stop watching the television." Unfortunately, he liked really violent stories on the television. Nothing pleased him more than if people were fighting and pushing and all that sort of thing. His mum and dad got very, very worried about him. They thought, oh, what can we do? His dad tried to encourage him to work in the garden because his dad loved gardening. They had a nice little garden with trees and shrubs and flowers. And in the summer, the butterflies and birds used to love visiting this really special garden. But the little boy didn't like it. He would just cry and moan and want to go back in front of the television. One day, his father said, "Right, you're coming in the garden with me. I want you to help me. You're not going to sit in front of the television today." The little boy was really cross. And he said, "Yes, I want to watch television." "No, you're coming in the garden," said his dad very firmly. So the little boy had to go in the garden. The dad had to go down to his shed to find some tools. And whilst he was away, the little boy got his sword. He had a plastic sword about that long, which he kept in his bedroom. And the little boy was going around the garden. And guess what he was doing? Yes, he was hitting at the trees. He was knocking the blossom off the trees. The little flowers in the borders, their little flowers were just popping up, looking really beautiful. And he was knocking them to smithereens. His father, when he saw this, was very angry and took him inside. And just before the dad got really too angry, and he shouldn't get too angry, as we know, he said, "I know what you need. We're going for a visit." It was a Saturday afternoon, and the dad got his little boy to get into his car. And in the car, the little boy said, "Where are we going, Dad? I want to go home and watch the television." "You are coming with me." And the dad went, and the little boy soon discovered that they were on their way to the most beautiful forest. The dad stopped his car, they got out, and the dad said, "Look, I want you to really explore and enjoy this beautiful forest. Look at those magnificent trees and all the wonderful birds that are nesting in the trees. And look there, there's a butterfly." And the little boy looked and he saw this beautiful red admiral with its wings spread out. It was really beautiful. At that moment, something touched the little boy's heart and it melted. For a moment, he didn't feel angry. He suddenly felt the magic of the countryside. He said, "Dad, this place is wonderful. Can I see some more?" So he went and he looked and he found a log on the ground with some moss growing on it. And he said, "Dad, look at this moss." And the dad said, "Yes, when we go home, we'll look up and we'll find out about moss. And we'll find out why that moss is such a brilliant green." The little boy was really excited because he had never seen such beauty. And his eyes were really open because for the first time in his life, he was appreciating and loving what he was seeing. the natural beauty of the outdoors. His dad then said, well, I want you to come somewhere else with me. The little boy said, well, can't we stay here longer, Dad? I'm really enjoying it. No, we've got to go, but we'll come back here another day. So the little boy got in the car again with his dad, and they went off, and they traveled quite a long way. And the boy said, where are we going, Dad? This journey is taking so long. After a while, they came to quite a different place. This time, the landscape, the countryside, was just like a desert. Do you know what deserts look like? Yes, they're very, very brown, sandy sometimes. If it's a sandy desert, lots of rocks, but nothing growing in it. The dad stopped the car and they got out and they looked at what they saw around them. And the little boy said, I don't like this place, Dad. Look, there are tree stumps. Someone's been cutting down lots of trees. The dad said, yes. Once, you see, this was a lovely wood that you had been in earlier. But greedy men came and they cut down all the trees. So there was nowhere for the birds or the butterflies to be anymore. And this place is now desolate. This is what our world will be like if all the trees are cut down by people. The little boy began to cry. His dad said, I think we can still do something about this. The first place to start is our own garden, looking after our own garden. Shall we go back home? So they got in their car and they returned to their own home. And you know what? From that day on, the little boy asked to help his dad in the garden. He didn't watch television so much, and he didn't want to watch violent films and things that were destructive. He seemed to love nature, and he asked his dad if he could have a part of the garden that would be specially for him. And that summer, lovely things grew in his garden. So what did this little boy discover? He discovered a peacefulness inside of him. We call that the value of peace. He also learned to respect. He respected the plants, the trees, the animals, the wonderful insects that are in nature. And I am told that when he grew up, he became someone who was really interested in the environment and did a lot to help preserve our wonderful world. That's a beautiful story. I love that story, and I hope you enjoyed it too. I hope that you love nature, and perhaps in your home or your school or somewhere, you can help ensure that our world continues to be such a magical, wonderful place. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye-bye.